Hello, global supply chainers, and welcome to the third Hangout event. My name is Ahmad Hammati. I'm a postdoctoral associated here at MIT, and I'm part of the SC0x team. Today, we have Eva Ponce, Dr. Eva Ponce, the Executive Director of MicroMasters in Supply Chain Management, and she's going to talk about virtual Proctor test exam.
Thank you, Ahmad. Welcome, everyone. Very happy to be here today and share with you and discuss with you about the Proctor test that is a new initiative that we just decided to implement in SC0x. So the idea today is just to present you why we are doing a Proctor test in SC0x, how does it work, also to answer the questions you have and try to also answer to your concerns. So let's start with a clarification thing about the midterm and the final exam. I went through the forum. I saw many different posts regarding the midterm, regarding the final exam, and these things. So the midterm is a time exam. That means that you have a limited time to complete it, but the midterm is not going to be a Proctor exam. The final exam, exactly the same, is going to be a time exam, but not a Proctor exam. So same thing, same rules as we stated at the beginning of the course. To have a time exam means that you have a limited time to complete it. Once you decide to accept the time exam and you say, okay, I'm ready to go to start the exam, that means that you cannot cancel it, you cannot reset it, you just need to complete it in the limited time that you have. For the midterm, you will have 6 hours to complete it. So please plan in advance, book for a reasonable slot that allows you to complete the midterm in 6 hours. 6 hours is more than the time you will need to complete it. We estimated that in around 3 hours is enough time to complete it. However, we decide to allow 6 hours in order that you are comfortable, you can check your solutions, go through different software if you want, just be relaxed and take your time in order to complete the midterm. So this is about the midterm, this is about the final exam, just a time exam. What is a Proctor exam? So let me go through the slides and explain to you how does a Proctor exam works. Give me just 1 second to fix the presentation.
Just go up and down.
Excellent. So, what are a Proctor exam? A Proctor exam is a time exam. Again, same concept as for the midterm or the final. You are going to have a limited time to complete it, and it's going to be also a Proctor 1. That means that we are going to monitor your computer and your behavior. Why are we doing this? There are 2 main reasons. One reason is we need to check that you, the person that is taking the exam, are the same person who is taking the SC0x courses. So that's why you need to verify yourself during the Proctor exam. You need to show an ID, a government ID, and this ID need to match with your edX user ID. This is one thing. The second thing is we also need to be sure that everyone in the course follow the rules and follow the academic honesty code. So we are doing that in order also to detect any attempt to cheat on the exam. So these are the 2 main reasons behind the Proctor exam. When is this going to happen? This is going to happen in week 6. The test, the Proctor test, is going to be open during 1 week, from December the 7th to December 14th. The maximum time is going to be 1 hour. Just expect one problem, simple questions. The idea here is to test how the Proctor exam works to be sure that everyone can meet the requirements, download the software, and complete all the steps that you need to meet in order to pass a Proctor exam.
So why 1%?
Yes. So in terms of the grades, we read many posts with concerns about the grades and the final grade and how this is going to affect the policy of the grade. So in this sense, the Proctor test is just going to be 1% of your total grade. Why 1%? Because it's the minimum that we can fix in the platform. So we decided just to go to the 1%. We try just to give you 0 points for this virtual test, Proctor test, but this is not possible. So we just decide to go through the minimum, that is 1% of your total grade. So the impact on your total grade is going to be really low if you miss this virtual Proctor test.
So don't be worried.
Don't be worried about that. We know that many of you are worried about this. The Proctor test is only for verified people. Verified learners, verified students need to take this Proctor virtual test. So please read the learner's documentation. This is available under the supplemental material in week 4 in the third Hangout section. You can go there and go to the link that provides you all of the documentation for learners and explain all the details about how a Proctor test works. In addition to that, there are general rules. Mm-hmm. So again, please go to the link and read these general rules. These general rules include that no mobile devices are allowed. So you just need your room, your table, everything need to meet all this general requirement that basically is that you only have access to the platform, to the exam, and then you cannot talk to anyone, you cannot collaborate with anyone because this is an exam. So same rules that we have on grade assignments, same rules that we have on the final or on the midterm exam. No collaboration during an exam question. In addition to that, we are going also to define specific rules for the specific Proctor exams that we are going to ask you to take. In this case, for week 6, we are planning to allow you to use Excel or LibreOffice in order to solve the problem that we are going to include in this Proctor exam. We are also thinking about to allow the use of the key concept document. So there are some general rules that you can read on the edX documentation, and then there will be specific rules per exam, per each Proctor exam.
Depends on the question, maybe, right?
Depend on the questions, depend on the type of problems we are going to include in the exam. So depend on the tools you are going to need to solve the exam, we are going to define and adapt the rules to the specific exam.
Okay, so don't be worried. If you need Excel for solving the problem, then Excel is allowed for that exam.
Definitely, absolutely. Yeah. So let's move now to where can you find this information and all the documentation. So after the midterm, after week 5, we just include a new section. This section is called Only for Verified, Try a Proctor exam. This is just a practice. This is not a real Proctor exam. The purpose of this section and this practice is just to allow you to go through the software that you need to download in your computer. Is just to allow you to be familiar with all the steps you need to complete in order to be ready for a real proctor exam.
Is there any grade for this test?
No grade at all, no grade. There are some questions, and indeed, if you access to this, you can find that the questions are just questions related to the process and just to make sure that you understand all of the steps and all of the
you're all set with the software.
all of the things that you need to set for the proctor exam.
Great.
So this is after the midterm exam, after week 5, is a section that is called Try a Proctor Exam, only for verified students. So this is just to test and to try how it works. So if you go through this section, that I highly recommend you to do that, because it's the best way to realize if you need to change something, if you need or if you need to install something in your computer. It's just to be sure that you meet all of the requirements. So let's, if you go through this practice, you just can start with the application. The first thing the software is going to provide you is a code. This is a unique code per student, and you need to copy this code, because this after in the next step, the software is going to ask you for this specific code. Then you need to download the software. This is the software that is going to monitor the activity in your computer during the proctor time exam. Yeah, you just need to download the software. You need to allow this software to be downloaded as any other software that you need to install in your computer. And then the application is going to ask you for this code. Then you need to include the code that you have, I provide you at the beginning. Once you do that, you need to check the microphone of your computer. You also need to check the room. You need to have a webcam. This is mandatory. You need to have a webcam in your laptop or your personal computer in order to take this proctor exam. You need to show the room and pass also this test. After that, you need to agree with all the terms and conditions. In software secures, that is the name of the application we are using for that. Read the rules. You need to know the rules in advance. That's why we are going to provide all of the details next Tuesday in the next newsletter, and we will also include all of the details in the instructions before the proctor test. So no worries about that. Everything will be clear and will be available for you in order to review before taking the real proctor test. I think that's all from my side. Once you complete the process, you will be ready to take the exam. In the practice, there are just some multiple choice questions to be sure that you have read the documentation. For the practice test in week 6, you will expect one problem with some parts. The maximum time allowed is going to be 1 hour, and it will be available, as I mentioned before, just during 1 week, from December the 7th to December 14th. So I think
they can use a mobile phone or any mobile device during that week?
No. This is a very good question, Amat. During this week, December 7th to December 14th, mobile devices are not allowed. That means that you cannot access to any material on SC0x through the mobile device.
How about the period that they are using the test, not the main one? I mean, the one after midterm.
Sorry?
Not week 6. So there's a real test on week 6.
Yes.
And the test on after week 5. So is it the same story for both? Not using a mobile phone?
Yes. The mobile phone during this week are not allowed for any material or content on SC0x.
Okay.
So no mobile phones, no mobile devices are allowed during this week.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go to the questions.
Yeah.
And let's try to answer your questions.
So they're asking if Excel is the only software that they can use. So I think you answered that. It depends on the.
Yeah, it depends on the test. For the virtual proctor test in week 6, Excel will be the only tool we are going to allow. But for a final exam in an SC0x course or for a capstone final exam, this depends on the exam and the problems we are going to include in the exam. So depends on that. We are going to allow different or just one software.
So are they able to use their slides or key concepts or any other notes?
This will be. This is something that we will provide you in the details and in the instructions before the virtual proctor. So the general rules are nothing is allowed. So we just need to decide if the key concept is we consider that is needed to solve the problems. Definitely, we will allow you to use the key concept. If the problems or the questions does not need this information, then this will not be allowed. But every single detail for this specific exam will be providing the instructions before the test.
Maybe we should be clear on monitoring the computer. So people asking that we are going to spy you? No.
No, we don't want to spy you. No, we are not
Actually,
spies.
it's a third party. It's not us that.
Definitely, yeah. The idea of a proctor test is kind of real test, you know. So in a real test, you have typically the professor, the instructor watching you and proctor the exam. So this is the way to do this in a virtual way. It's going to be a software. The software is going to monitor your computer and also monitor your behavior. This is a third party. It's an external company. Chris or myself or the team, we are not going to be the ones that are going to watch in the videos. There are third-party professionals that they are going to review all of the videos.
And are they able to access the online materials on the edX platform?
During the exam?
During the exam.
Yeah, again, this is a specific rule. So depending on the exam, you will be allowed to go through all the materials on the platform, or the general rule does not allow to open any other thing more than the exam. So again, if we consider that you need to go through the material in the platform, we will allow you to do that more than the exam. So.
Okay, maybe for those who joined right now, you want to emphasize that midterm and the final exam are not proctored.
No.
So they are just time exam.
Yes, midterm and final exam are time exams. For the midterm, as I mentioned before, we are going to provide 6 hours. And it's very important to clarify that once you accept to start the exam, there is no way to cancel, there is no way to reset. It's just a way to complete the exam in these 6 hours. You have 1 week to choose the best slot for you, but once you decide to start, you just have 6 hours. I read some posts that you were asking about, hey, I want to go through the exam, to have a look into the exam, and then next week I want to solve it. This is not allowed. A time exam is an exam that once you decide to start, you have a limited time to complete it. So please, plan in advance, read the instructions. Everything is stated in the instructions before the midterm. So please read the instructions. Be sure that you plan in advance for this 6 hour slot. And once you decide to start, is only one way. No way to come back tomorrow or to come back next week.
Is the Proctor exam an open book exam?
The Proctor exam can be open book or can't be open book. According to the general rules, it's a not open book exam. If we allow you to have the key concept document, then you can have this documentation. If we allow you to go through the platform, then it's going to be an open book. Again, this is going to depend on the constraints that we need to take into consideration for the exam and the contents of the specific Proctor exam.
And are there any specific condition for the room that they should sit? Is it possible to sit in a public place?
As far as I know, it's not possible to be in a public place. You need to be in a room. You need to be the only person that are in this room. Anyone can interrupt or can come in the room during the time exam. So all of these things, you need to take this into consideration. And please read the learner's documentation.
And consider that it takes 1 hour, right?
Yeah, it's maximum 1 hour. Yeah, have in mind that it's a Proctor exam. So it's like if you go to a classroom and you need to take an exam, and just be yourself and the exam.
And it's just
basically
to avoid
this idea.
to go to a physical place to take the...
Yeah, well, why are we doing this in SC0x? Why are we doing this in week 6? We are doing that in order to test how this virtual Proctor exam works. Just to be sure that you meet all of the requirements and just to be sure that it's a good way to assess your knowledge. We are trying to have a rigorous assessment. We are also working on an accurate assessment. So in order to meet these two things, we really want to see if this virtual Proctor test is a good way to assess your knowledge. For the final capstone exam, we have two options. One is the physical Proctor final exam or a virtual Proctor final exam. So the one of the main benefits to do a virtual one is that this is a global program. We have students from more than 180 countries. So if you need to go to a physical place, you need to travel. In many cases, you are going to need to travel to this physical place that is the place that you need to take the exam. If we do it virtually, it's more flexible for all of you, but we need to be sure that the technology and the requirements and all of we meet all of the things.
Limitation. Yeah. So someone asked about which lessons are going to be asked in week 6 Proctor. So it should be week 6.
It's going to be 1% of the grade assignment of week 6. So it's going to be related to the contents of week 6 and is just worth 1% of the grade assignment of week 6. Mm-hmm.
And what should I do if the internet connection disconnect or disconnection or any kind of this problem?
This is exactly the same problem that you might have for a time exam, or you might have once you are following an online course. So
the email is provided there to contact?
Yes. In this case, you need to contact edX support. We will provide all of these details and information in the instructions. But for any technical issue with the Proctor test, you need to contact edX support. So this is the best way to solve this.
So how about the rest part of the week 6, the 4%, I mean? So
it's going to be a regular grade assignment.
It's not time exam.
No time exam, no Proctor exam. It's just going to be a regular grade assignment.
Mm-hmm. So there is about calculator. It's the same story, I think.
Yeah, our idea for this Proctor test is to allow you to use Excel. So Excel will be the tool that you will be used for this. If Excel is not allowed, we will consider to allow just the calculator on your computer.
Mm-hmm. So again, as you mentioned, if so they're asking about the other softwares like SAS and Ample.
This depends on the problem. If for the problem we are going to ask, we consider that this needed to have another tool, we will allow that. For this virtual test, we are thinking about just to allow Excel and or LibreOffice.
Mm-hmm. So
sorry.
are they able to leave the room during the
No,
exam?
this is a great question. No, you cannot leave the room during the Proctor exam. The Proctor exam, the test, the trial on week 6 is going to be maximum 1 hour.
Mm-hmm. So
To be honest, you are not going
and
to
no one
need
should be enter the room.
the
So
1 hour. So will be most likely you just need 30 minutes to complete it. We are going to provide you 1 hour just to be sure that you have enough time to do the problem.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not allowed to leave the room. It's not allowed that anyone come into the room. It's not allowed to talk to any other person or to collaborate in any other way.
Does this Proctor test means that we do not trust our student
No, does not mean that.
at all?
At all. This Proctor test means that we really care about our students, and we really care about those students that follow the rules and follow the academic honesty rules. So we just want to be sure that everyone meet the same rules. So we with this Proctor test, what we try to do is just to protect the good student and just to be fair with the good student, with those students that meet the rules. So it's just a way to be sure that everyone follow exactly the same rules.
Yes, I think covered the So again, midterm and final exam are not proctored, they're just timed exam.
Yes, and I want also to add that midterm is the 30% of the total grade. Final exam is going to be the 40% of the total grade.
And this week 6 proctor exam is only
1% of your total grade. And this is the minimum that we can set in the platform. So our idea is not to penalize, our idea is not to give, is just to give the minimum points for this test, but we really consider that that is something that is going to add value to the certificate, is going to provide more rigorous, more accurate way to assess your knowledge. But we are just testing that.
And people are asking about the details of this kind of monitoring. So I think we should not go into details. So this is part of the job. So they are asking about the details of monitoring. So I think we cannot go through that. The details
of the monitoring,
how this is going to be monitored, and if they have some data in the Excel sheet, is it monitored? So I would say everything is monitored. I'm not. I don't want to tell we are spying you. So, but all the things that is related to the exam is monitored.
Yes, during the time exam, the Proctor exam, the software secure is going to monitor your computer and your behavior. So this is the main idea behind. Yeah. So any other question? Yeah, just let me clarify one more thing. In week 6, you will have the Proctor test, the 1% of your final grades. After the midterm, what you have is just a practice Proctor test. It's just to practice, not for grade. It's just to be sure that you download the software, that you read the documentation, and you are familiar with this process before taking an actual Proctor test. So just be sure that after the midterm, what you have is a practice test with no, does not affect your grades at all. And then in week 6, 1% of your homework assignment, of your grade assignments, will be Proctor.
And the rest are regular?
Regular grade assignment, yeah. Please, as always, read the instructions before the Proctor test, read the instructions before the grade assignments, because we provide all of these details in these instructions. So the instructions are very, very important, also for the midterm, also for the final exam.
And be careful that midterm is time exam. Once you start, you should finish in 6 hours.
6 hours maximum, yeah.
In Slack, I have a couple.
Okay. So we are going to check if we have more questions.
So they're asking about if we want to have a poll for to the learners to get their preference of the Proctor or physical version.
Definitely, we can do a poll and have your feedback about that. And after the Proctor exam, I really want to hear about your feedback. So what we can do is after the virtual exam, in order to have your feedback and more information about your experience.
In week 6.
In week 6, we can add a specific survey, a specific poll, in order to that you, and then you can provide us your feedback about your experience with this virtual test. Yeah, we can do that, definitely. The decision, unfortunately, relies on us, so we will need to assess all of the pros and cons for both options. Definitely, we are going to take into consideration, as always, your feedback and your suggestions. We will try to do our best, definitely, to meet the requirements we have, and also to meet with your expectations and with your the things that you prefer. So yeah, we will take this into consideration, and we will add a poll after the week 6, the grade assignment. And we will ask specifically about your experience with the virtual test.
Great.
Perfect. Any other thing?
Slack, 2 more.
So we have covered that, but again, are the hard copy notes and allowed in the Proctor exam?
If we are going to allow something, the only thing we are going to allow is a printed copy of the key concept document. But again, this depends on the type of questions and the type of problems of the test. So no worries about that. It will be reasonable. I mean, if you need Excel, SAS, and AMPLE, we will allow Excel, SAS, and AMPLE. If you need to have a copy of the key concept, we will allow that. So we will just calibrate the things that you are going to need in order to solve the problem, the kind of tests we are going to prepare, and based on that, we will allow all of the tools, or just the tools that you will need to solve it.
So they're asking that they have confidential info on their computers. What should they do?
I don't think you need to worry about that. The only thing we are going to monitor is the things that the things that you have opened during the time exam. And the only thing you can open during the time exam is the edX platform to have access to the exam. In addition to that, if we allow you to open Excel, it's just we are going to monitor this specific file. So I won't be worried about that because everything needs to be closed. So please don't share with us any confidential thing because we are not interested in that. And in addition to that, this is not good for you because does not meet the requirements. You just need to have access to the platform and that's all. So no worry about this thing. I don't think you need to be worried about that.
A question about the practice version after midterm. So are they able to have that practice virtual test several times on different computers?
No.
The practice, not the one in which
sorry, the practice, yes.
Just to check which computer works better.
The practice you can check in different devices. You can check as many times as you want. It's just a way to test that everything works and just to follow the different steps and to read the documentation. So you can try in different devices, never in a mobile device, because as I mentioned before, the Proctor exam is not allowed in a mobile device, but in a laptop or personal computer, you can try. Yeah, and you can try as many times as you want. For the Proctor test, is just one time. And again, once you decide to do that, you need to book for this 1 hour and then accept that you are going to start the exam. You just have 1 hour to complete it.
Mm-hmm. And they're asking about if the Excel is allowed, are they able to use the pre-built Excel models?
Mm-hmm. This is a good question. Again, this is something that we will define.
Yeah,
it's a rule. It's a rule. Depending on the problem, we will define this rule. But it's a very good question. Yeah, the rule will be if you can use Excel or not, or if you can use a file in Excel. So we will define that very, very clear in the rules, specific rules for the test.
So
Apple numbers.
So someone asked, I use Apple numbers. I can't tell if this is running behind or so. These are technical things that
yes.
Maybe they may ask.
Yeah, for technical questions, I would say send a note to edX support. So once you go through the practice Proctor test, any technical questions that you might have, contact edX support, and they will answer these technical questions.
Like if your platform is Linux or any other devices.
All of the technical questions, send a note to edX support. Yeah, this is a good question. Perfect. Yeah.
So again, if there's something related to what we give the allowance, then we give all the information for that specific exam.
Yes.
So don't be worried about that. But if there's something related to limitation on the software or something related to the software, then they should, as Eva said, they should contact the edX.
And I just want to clarify that the practice Proctor test you can check in different computers. For the Proctor, the real one, you just can solve it in one computer. You are going to have one code. You are going to use this code one time to do the exam just one time. So for the real one, it's one code, one computer, and one time. Okay. What else?
So I think we have covered
almost all of the
Can
questions.
they use pre-built formulas?
Yeah, we have covered that one. So
yeah,
it depends. It depends on the exam. So if we gave that allowance, so you can. If not, you don't.
Okay, so I would say bear with us. We will include the poll after week 6. Share with us your feedback about the virtual Proctor exam. Please, I highly encourage you to do the practice before and to be sure that you meet all the requirements.
Share your experience.
Yeah, share with us your experience. Best of luck for the midterm.
Yeah.
Please book in advance for these 6 hours. When you decide to start, it's just one slot, one time. You cannot come back. Yes, best of luck. Let us know if you have any other questions. We are always open to solve your questions and concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and good luck with the midterm.